But still 13 with Alan Kilshaw. Had a first Super 8 fixture on Sunday. Travelled to Barrow for the third time this year. Won there twice already. What are your plans to ensure that it's 3 on the spin?
We've been a little bit restricted the last 2 times we played there in how we wanted to play because of the conditions. Obviously we're not sure, we've had a couple of different forecasts this week, but I'm pretty sure that it won't be as bad as it has been in the last 2 times in terms of the temperature and how wet it is. So we'll hopefully be able to throw the ball about a little bit more than the last 2 occasions, but we'll go and be really physical with them and aggressive, because they've struggled to handle that the last 2 times, and our pack are in really good form, and we'll go and have that intent and that. But we want to back that up with discipline and not give penalties away. And we don't want to give them the ball and field position. It's a simple game, and if we're finishing our sets on our terms and limiting their field position, then giving ourselves opportunity with the ball, I'm confident we'll post points.
And it's been a funny year for Barrow, really. Considering the recruitment, they signed really well, and then obviously once that happened at North Wales, they reinforced with the likes of Dallimore and Ashaw. They were tipped to be top in some media outlets, including Rugby League World, and they're currently 5th. Are you sort of surprised with how it's gone for them?
Oh, look, they've got some big players and on big salaries, and they don't come cheap. And I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when they've really underachieved this season. They've let the team down at times, and they've really lacked consistency. When they're on, they're a really good side, and they've got some good players in the team. But they have been inconsistent. But what they will be doing is pinpointing. They've still got themselves in a good position, in 5th, and they've got 3 home games in this period that they'll be pinpointing as must win, which includes the weekend, to get some points back, and then they'll be looking to get a couple of wins on the road and put themselves in contention come the playoffs. They'll be looking at trying to get potentially 1 or 2 home games in the playoffs. I think that'll be their goal now. So yeah, they've been a little bit up and down this year, but they've still got some players there who can harm you on the day, and they picked up a couple of good wins recently. Good win at Keighley, and it's shown they are capable of getting results. But it remains to be seen how they go for the rest of the year. This weekend will be a physical encounter. It has that derby game atmosphere. There's no love lost between the 2 teams. It's a different probably game to a normal game. They'll be well up for it, and they'll be looking to get one over on us, considering we've beaten them and knocked them out of the cup competition as well this season.
And just on to us, there's a few regulars that'll miss out. Dave Cookson, Matt Ratu, Dale Bloomfield as well, and Chris Riley still suffering with that hand injury. Taking that into consideration, what are your plans team-wise to sort of replace those big names?
Yeah, obviously Mike's had a bit of a setback, and Dale's probably a couple of weeks away, and Dave Cookson, it's week to week at the minute. So we're down on outside backs, with Chris in there as well. Warrington have been real kind to us this week. We've got a couple of players there on dual registration. Potentially 3 players who'll go out and play on the weekend, and they're needed at this stage, and it's the last week we can really use them before club tying them, so it's felt good, and we don't have to push the players I've mentioned to play this weekend. With London coming up and Keighley coming up the weeks after, the lads will come in. There's 2 who've played for us before in Tom Lynham and Ben Julian, and then potentially have Kevin Penny in our squad, and that's just exciting, just that Kev's going to be with the group this week and turn out in a Rochdale Hornets shirt, and it's the partnerships work well this year, and no one's let us down when they've come down, and they've come with a great attitude, and the lads trained with us last night, and Tom and Kev are in the Warrington squad, so there is a chance that they could be drafted into their team last minute, but all being well, all 3 of them will be in the Hornet shirt on the weekend and giving their all for a victory.
And as well as them, you've handed debuts to Jack Owens and Steve Roper. got a second debut to steer up. How have they gone since arriving from Oldham?
Yeah, both of them outstanding, and been really impressed with Steve. Coached him a long time ago, and he was under 19s, under 20s, and he's really matured as a player, and he can get you around the park, and he does all the little things well as a halfback. Jack's going to be a great addition. He can play a number of positions, and he's comfortable in them all, and he's got a good skill set, and he's had limited game time the last few weeks, and he's just jumping at the bit to get out there and play. And there is a lot of changes, I suppose, to the back line, which we've managed over the last 2 weeks, and it's coming together nicely for the back end of this season. And
news broke late last night that York have unfortunately had to wind up. Massive problems there off the pitch. They're the team that's probably the only team that's caused us real problems this year. I don't know what impact at this stage it'll have on the Super 8s, but just wonder what your thoughts are initially.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and as a coach, we just go out and prepare our players. If there's who's going to fulfil those fixtures? Are the points going to be taken off teams who've beat York, given back? Are we going to have now 3 home games and 3 away games where we don't get much benefit from finish second now? If you look at it, Doncaster in 4th could have 4 home games and 2 away. There's lots of questions that they need answering. They need answering fast, and I think Mark and Ryan have done a good job this year, and we'll put our faith in them, and hopefully the best outcome, not just for us but for everyone, including York, comes out. But it needs to be done in the next couple of days, because we're starting playoff format on Sunday, or some teams play tomorrow, and these questions need answered. We don't want to see any team like York to be in this plight. They've got loyal supporters, and coaches who've worked hard all season, and it would be difficult for those guys today, waking up and not being employed, and it's unfortunate for York, and you don't want to see another team suffer in this way. If you want them out or beaten, you want to beat them on the field, and not through through poor administration or poor leadership off the field.
Cheers, Alan.
Thanks, Luke.